Lastly,
exactly.
today we want to look at the crypto markets. So
Yeah, so crypto market,
it
well,
looks
this might
less
be,
exciting.
we might be a little contrary to what a lot of people are, they
That's
still
true.
think it's bullish. But here, at least what I'm seeing from, and plainly from TA,
Yeah.
from the chart, is the fact that we had marked out the last weekly high, and prices failed to close above it. It keeps tapping it, got
Yeah, it's
rejected a
it's
bunch of
tapping
times.
that. So that red line you have marked out there for Bitcoin
Yeah.
is basically that was like the previous resistance when we hit that high.
Mm-hmm.
And so in order to continue our uptrend here, we want to see us, breaking the resistance and turning it into support, that SR flip that we're always talking
SR
about.
flip.
Right,
Exactly.
support resistance
And
flip, and we're not seeing that here. We're seeing it actually hold as support, and which is effectively
or as
I'm
resistance.
sorry,
Yeah, we just,
yes, I'm sorry, as
and
resistance, and it's confirming the potential of it holding as resistance. So that basically would confirm a push down at least to the lower end of that channel again to test the bottom
yeah,
end of
so
it.
like, because also our indicator, the way it works is like you have a bull signal and then you have a strength band.
Mm-hmm.
You in We have another metric called the strength band, and in a bullish trend, price will tend to bounce on the strength band, or like
Yeah,
the strength band will act as support. So I wouldn't rule out the price now like dropping all the way to the strength band. If it still
yeah, and
continues to be
testing.
bullish, it should like hold.
Yeah,
Same thing with Ethereum, like, like, see, and now we're getting also, it looks like a lower high on both and a double top. So like,
yeah,
and the stock RSI is like curling over as far as for Bitcoin goes. So
yeah.
this seems to me like a top, and this is the huge channel that
The
with
channel could still be in play, but it's a
it
big
could,
range. So like for
yeah,
Bitcoin, we're looking
and
at
this
like
could be like weeks or
70,000.
months,
Yeah. And
to
we're looking at
keep
the
bouncing
bottom.
around.
The bottom is like 52,000 per unit. That's
Yeah, no,
quite a
that's
ways down from here. So that's like, yeah, like a 20% drop.
21
So
percent Yeah.
that's it's a dip in the sense that, like, on these longer time frames, we could still stay in our bullish trend here. We could stay even north
Yeah.
of our strength band, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean we're not potentially looking at a decent sell-off in the coming weeks,
Yeah.
especially with the way that this chart is starting. The like last week is starting to close a little bit more bearish, and
Yeah.
we are getting kind of our McDonald's golden arches starting to play out, which is that double top that Sid was talking about.
Yeah,
So
so like, I mean, I personally risked off like on the daily when I saw it like actually like create a double top on the daily.
yeah,
I took some off the table, but I was waiting for the weekly close, which it just
which
has.
is quite bearish too.
And
It's not a good
the
look.
the weekly, like, you know, bearish engulfing candle with like a double top, this would be a good point to risk off if you're still
Yeah,
holding. I mean,
especially if you're
get
holding in profit. There's no shame in taking
exactly,
profits, and then we can always enter again when the situation changes. So this
exactly.
is a dynamic image, and it's going to change week to week. And our
Yeah,
goal is, of course, to, like, hopefully kind of like give some clarity on what we're seeing, and then
yeah,
give a little bit of clarity on what we're doing based on what we're seeing. Not necessarily
yeah,
telling you what you should do. You should do whatever is right for you, and it's up to you to make those decisions. But
yeah.
what we're looking at here is that, hey, we've had an amazing run. Looking at the technical indicators, we are looking like it's starting to turn a little bit more bearish, and
Hmm.
we're in pretty serious profit since our last spot buy. Last time we
Oh
were
yeah, totally.
so no problem taking some profits, and like
And
Sid put
locking
it,
it in, yeah,
off risk. Take some risk
yeah,
off the table. You can rotate into less risky assets, of course. The
yeah,
SPY looks good. If you
yeah.
see GameStop, if you
QQQ
want
looks
that, if
good.
you want that risk, GameStop has a nice trend line we just showed. Maybe
Yeah,
keep an eye on that kind of stuff. But yeah,
yeah,
also, you know, um, there is a lot of sentiment, especially in crypto and Bitcoin markets, about hodl and never selling, and like that's
mm.
fun. It's fun to be part of that community, and that sentiment is, of course, prevalent within that community. But I would also argue it's not like good advice if you're an
Yeah.
investor.
If you're an investor or a trader, like, You should
Yeah.
know.
It is
It
good
helps to
advice
know
if you're
when to
not.
risk off and go back in.
If you're not a trader, then it is good advice. Just buy and hold and don't try it, because if you don't know what you're doing, it's more likely you get eaten than you don't. But
Yeah, that's more like a gamble.
yeah,
And you know, but
if
us
you are
looking
trying
at
to
the
be,
chart,
yeah,
right now it looks bearish.
right now it's
and
starting to look bearish, and we're going to keep an eye
choppy,
on
yeah.
this, of course. But yeah, I think for like the big takeaway here is that we're in profit. That we've had an amazing run up, and general market sentiment is still bullish, but the technicals are starting to turn a little bit bearish, and so it is a good opportunity to off risk a little bit, take some of those profits into into the realized side of your portfolio, and then assess the situation as it develops. So that's kind of like our takeaway this week.